Beware of superficial women. In this video, I'm going to give you my thoughts on plastic surgery. Should you date a woman who has had cosmetic surgery done to herself? My personal opinion is no. And throughout this video, I'm going to give you the reasons why and the different variables that can come with that. My thoughts on cosmetic surgery. When is it acceptable? There are rare exceptions. What sort of cosmetic surgery is completely unacceptable? And then final thoughts. What do you do if you're with a girl who's had something done or wants something done to herself? How do you handle these scenarios? How do you move forward? Hopefully this video sheds some light onto the danger that plastic surgery does to women. I'm also going to show you some pictures on screen of how bad this actually looks. And I honestly hope this raises your standards as a man and that you don't have any struggles moving forward when you come across a woman. With that said, let's start with the Bible verse that encompasses the theme of this video. Proverbs 31:30 says, "Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised." Translated to modern English, in the context of a woman fearing the Lord, it means a woman that respects and admires God. Beauty, it's going to fade away. It's superficial, right? But a woman that loves God, that loves truth, she's the sort of woman you're going to want to praise. And a beauty, her internal beauty is always going to shine through, right? Keep that in the back of your mind as we go through this video. So let's start with my personal thoughts. I have had a lot of guys ask me over the last few months, "Christian, what are your thoughts on this? Should you ever be with a woman like this?" And obviously my answer is no. The woman I have in my life, completely natural, never has anything done to her, and I'm so thankful she has those values. And I personally think that is what you guys should be looking for in a woman. But there are exceptions where you may be with a very sweet girl who had something small done to herself 3 years ago. She's changed her mind. It's safe to continue with that woman, right? If that's the case that you're in. So there's a lot of different scenarios to consider here, which is why I've decided to make this video. Because there is definitely a rise of more and more young women modifying their appearance, some to extreme degrees, and the other variable, it might be something very minor and manageable, can oftentimes even be removed. It all depends on the quality of woman you choose. And this video is going to help you navigate as you move through life. You find a woman so you can accurately assess and vet what you should do. So cosmetic surgery, from my understanding, has turned into a form of escapism for the insecure. It's not just women doing it, even some men are getting things done to themselves. Fortunately, we live in a degenerate world that misleads the youth to compare themselves with each other, which can cause them to develop issues within their image. Social media, celebrities, selfie culture, feminism, and broken families have turned our women away from their femininity. Sadly, lots of women feel the need to modify their appearance because they don't believe they're good enough for a man. A lot of women know that men are lustful, they watch pornography, they sleep around. And so even a lot of you watching, if you haven't detoxified or walked away from that lifestyle, you may have a very unnatural perception of what actual female beauty is supposed to look like. Maybe perhaps you even have low testosterone, so you're unhealthy. So you're not even in that right state of mind to even see it. And so a lot of you have an unnatural standard of what a woman's body or face should look like. And a lot of young girls see that in a man and they think, maybe I should change. Some women fear that they won't be accepted by society. Again, it's pushed on them from a young age. And unfortunately, when women go down this path, all the love in the world ain't going to satisfy her. I don't care how much attention, intimacy, love you show a woman. If she's not right with God and doesn't accept herself, she can't accept any love from you. If she's not happy with how God made her, she's constantly trying to change her appearance in an unnatural or unhealthy way, how can she accept any love from you? These women, unfortunately, are emotionally unstable and have serious self-esteem issues that you will never be able to fix. The only hope is for them to really see Christ, come to God, restore their identity and how it's supposed to be, if they have low self-esteem, and get that fixed. You can't do it for them. It has to be on them. A big misunderstanding when it comes to plastic surgery is that if a woman undergoes breast implants, Botox, nose jobs, or other forms of surgery, it's because perhaps she wants to impress her boyfriend, or she simply wants to look younger and prettier. And yes, there are rare cases where some women do it, right? Sometimes the boyfriend tells her, hey, I want you to get this done. And the girl has very low self-esteem and she says, yes, I'll do whatever he says. Sometimes if a woman is with a man who's unfaithful and she catches him cheating or catches him watching pornography, she might compare herself to the woman who he has been with or lusted after with his eyes, and she will yearn to change her appearance to try and stop him from committing adultery. It's sad, but there are cases where it happens. But in most cases, most normal guys are not telling their girl to go get her boobs done or her face covered in, or lip fillers or modified, right? Most men want natural looking, beautiful women. So if you pull back the layers, in most cases, you'll find that a lot of the women are emotionally wounded and the decisions are rooted in insecurity. Whereas when you look at a woman with a healthy mind, she would never feel the need to alter her appearance because she's come to terms with how she looks. Okay, a normal woman who's emotionally stable does not compare herself to other women because she's secure in who she is, and that's ideally what you want in a woman. So when you see a girl that's not happy with her appearance, she's more inclined to look outwards for validation and happiness. Remember, good, stable women want a man's presence. Emotionally stable women want attention from everyone and anything. Women like this will rationalize why they look bad, why they must change their appearance, why they need to undergo cosmetic surgery to try and fix their problems. But fixing what's on the outside, or what they think needs to be fixed on the outside, doesn't change what's going on in here. Because the problem is deep inside. So that is my understanding of cosmetic surgery and the problems I see it causing in our society. So now, let me give you some variables. When is cosmetic surgery acceptable? Because there are exceptions. They have to be factored into the equation. Cosmetic surgeries that are based on restoring, removing, or improving a woman's appearance in a genuine way is acceptable. If a woman is restoring her appearance after an accident, got bitten by a pit bull, hit by a car, she's a burn victim, or maybe an illness or something that caused her it altered her face or her body, and she would like herself and her appearance to be restored to how it naturally looked, that is completely fine. That is true body positivity, and that is what cosmetic surgery should be for. The second scenario where I think is acceptable is to remove birth deformities. Some people are born with, a cleft lip palate, or something's wrong with them. And it can be removed through a simple cosmetic procedure. I think that is understandable, and women should be given that opportunity if they have a deformity that can be removed. And thirdly, anything related to the facial structure. Is it improving the woman's dental structure? Some women are born with an overbite, an underbite, or their gums see some people with huge gums, and a lot of women have insecurities with that. That is something that can cause problems with breathing, with how they chew, and their throat and jaw. So actually modifying the dental structure to make it look more natural and symmetrical with proper cosmetic surgery can be done, and I think that's okay. This is within the realm where I think it's normal. If you meet a girl, guys, and she's had something like this done, that's okay. There's no problem there at all. Okay, if she tells you I had a nose job, but she had a car accident, she smashed her nose and it got broken and it got restored, that's okay. She's not getting it for vain reasons. These are genuine reasons to restore what was once lost, what could have been in a natural way, and to just overall improve the structure in her face or her body, right? That is normal stuff. This is completely fine. But when we think of cosmetic surgery, we're thinking of the vain stuff we see, that men see, that women see. It's put on social media, it's projected on ads, commercials. This is unfortunately what's pushed on a lot of young women, which is the type of cosmetic surgery that I think is unacceptable, which is cosmetic surgeries that are based on vanity. I think these are never acceptable for women because in many cases they can alter and ruin their natural beauty, which sometimes it's irreparable. It can never change. As a man, the woman you're with represents you. You're walking around with your girl and she looks like this. Ugh, hideous, right? Your girl looks like this. No one's respecting you. There's something seriously wrong for a woman to want to do this to herself, right? So again, it's entirely up to you. But I think this is unacceptable. These women, whether it's low IQ, low self-esteem, it's not worth getting involved. So if you see a woman who has had the lip fillers, the Botox, the rhinoplasty, had like the facial fat removal like here, so they have like more hollow cheeks, and they engage in other forms of unnatural facial modifications, changing their skin tone, changing their eye color, right, with the ink. There's so many weird things that women are doing to their faces. Even some men do this, which is even worse, right? It's very sad. But gentlemen, take this as a warning sign. There's something wrong with her, and it's not your job to figure out why or what is. So other than the face, some women will do their breast implants, BBLs, and other forms of body modifications, which names I don't even know. But if any of you know any more, you can put them down in the comment section, right? I think these are things that are very damaging. No guy wants their woman to get a boob job. And if you do, you're probably with the wrong woman and you don't love her how she is. I understand that there are some rare exceptions where women, after maybe giving birth 4 or 5 times, the breast is just flat and they want it restored to how they used to look. Hey, to each to their own. If that falls into the section of restoring naturally, fine. But a young woman who has nothing wrong with her, she hasn't had breast cancer. Again, some women will get a boob job after they've had breast cancer to fix it up. But if you're a woman and there's nothing wrong with you, and you want to get a breast implant because you think it's going to make you look more attractive to men, or you're going to overall look better, you know, plastic women attract fake men. And I say it all the time to guys. If you want a real woman, you've got to be a real man. But ladies, goes for you too. If you want a real man, be a real woman. No one wants a plastic Barbie. So breast implants, you know, like the BBLs, the injecting them in the butt, it's really bad stuff. They look like clowns. All of this stuff, you look terrible. And all of this is done for vanity. It's done for self. And it's like, gentlemen, do you want to marry a woman like that? If you wouldn't want your daughter doing this, why would you marry a woman who does? Common sense, right? The sad thing is that this type of woman usually doesn't get one operation. She'll continue to modify her face and body until she runs into problems. And as I showed you pictures here, like you see these botched surgeries, right? How some of these people like they turn out, look at this. What's that? There was a story a few years ago of look at this. This woman, I remember reading the story years ago on screen. She wanted to look like Angelina Jolie. So she got look at all of this done. This is demonic shit, right? So again, you want your son and daughter to have this as a mother? You want to wake up to that every morning? I don't know. You know, it's up to you. So back to the document here. That's not right. And a lot of women, they keep getting it done until they run into problems like that. I know even from what I've seen in my own life, I grew up around a lot of friends whose mothers had a lot of plastic surgery done. Thank goodness my mother never did that. So I always saw my mum, a very natural woman, always had a very firm stance, and she was very against it always, which is a good thing. It gave me a good standard to look for in a woman, you know. Don't find a woman who's had this done. But a lot of my friends parents, I'd go over to the houses as kids, and it became more apparent as I got older. Why does the mum always look different? I didn't know then, and then slowly start to realize some of my friends' mums, they'd get their lips done or their boobs done or have all these weird injections in their face, and then they look like these weird pandas, and they really change the way they look. And you don't often overhear it with parents, discussing it. And it's always the same story. The husbands are always shaking their heads, miserable, telling the wife don't do it, but she does it anyway. And why pain yourself being with a woman like this? And I don't want to hear anyone to give me a story that I've been with my girl for 10 years and suddenly she suddenly wanted to get her fucking boobs done. No, it doesn't happen that way. This is either a very long process of low self-esteem and they've always wanted it, or they've always had low self-esteem and now they're hanging around very immoral people, they have very low IQ and they're being misled. And you as the husband or father, if that's your daughter or that's your wife, you're not protecting the woman in your life from this degeneracy. Whoa, time out, you're failing miserably. No one wakes up and wants to get weird stuff like this done to themselves, unless there's something wrong with them. But again, it should never get to that point, right? When you first court a woman, these are things you need to be asking. Where do you stand on this? What are your thoughts on cosmetic surgery? What are your thoughts on plastic surgery? Ideally, you want to hear the girl say, I think it's stupid. I think women who do that are very insecure. That's what you want to hear. Okay. So, yeah, back to the story that I was saying, that I had seen that. A lot of my friends' parents, the mums, were getting their boobs done or the lips done. And you look back now after years and those women look terrible. And then those guys that I grew up with, the ones that had sisters, oftentimes followed in the mother's footsteps. They saw mum do it, like mother like daughter. They see it as, why not? Mum did it, it's safe, I'll do it too. And they turn out the same. The father's sitting there miserable, upset. So oftentimes when I would hear conversations with some of my friends' mums where they wouldn't want to, if the surgeons would tell them no, I'd overhear it in a conversation. My surgeon told me he's not going to give me any more surgery, so I'm going to find a different one. Even when the surgeons tell them, hey, you need to kind of stop, they'll still go ahead and keep going. And I'm giving these stories to you as an example of one of you guys are with a woman that has extreme body modifications like this. This is kind of usually where it's going to go. She'll just find a different surgeon who will be happy to continue her delusion until she runs into financial problems, because these are very, very expensive things. In extreme cases, as I have highlighted here in bold, she could end up with a botched surgery, as I showed you on the pictures, which we'll look at more in a minute. And this is usually the breaking point when it makes these women realize the damage they've done to themselves. Can you imagine? Look at this stuff. That's the wife. That's the wife you want to represent you. Are you serious? How have we let our women turn out this way? So as a man, you have a responsibility. You don't want your daughter doing shit like this. The best you can do is marry a woman who's natural. A woman who's not into modifying her body so she doesn't influence your daughter that way. That's the best fighting chance you have at this stuff. Because children emulate what they see mum and dad do. So guys, any girls who is considering plastic surgery should be looking within and addressing the true problem, which lies in her low self-esteem. She should reach out to a church, a therapist, or a trusted loved one to help regain her sense of identity. Okay. There are other cases where a woman may come right out and tell you from the get-go, look, I'll be honest with you, these are the surgeries I've had done to myself. If you don't like it, leave. Or I'm not going to be with a man who says no to me, right? So she's already telling you what you're in for, so you can walk or stay if that's what you want. But there are there are other women, and it happens a lot in countries like South Korea and that, where they get their surgeries done and they look completely different. And these guys marry them, and they sue them and they divorce the women because the kids come out so ugly. The guy's thinking, I'm handsome, the wife's beautiful, but then they find the hidden pictures of how she used to look before he met her, and she was looked completely different. So the kids obviously have different facial features because of the genes, and the guys feel like they've been betrayed, so they leave the woman. So if you're unsure, hey, can you show me any pictures of when you were younger? I want to see what you look like. And if there's something off and she's hiding something, it will come out eventually, right? But do your research, right? But even then, if it gets to that point, you're obviously with the wrong woman. But these things do happen in extreme cases. We live in a very narcissistic culture, and there's a lot of young women doing it to themselves. So yeah, there are definitely lots of women who, they'll lock down a guy, start a family with him, and sometimes after the guy's fallen in love and they've got the life sorted with him, then they confess, hey husband, look, I know the kids or the grandkids don't really look like us. This is the reason why. And in their mind, it's like, well, I've given him kids. I take care of him. I love this man. He's not going to leave me. But hey, if you're betrayed, all you see is the betrayal, right? So I do think take things slow when you first meet a woman and assess everything from a logic and sound mind. Because if you're a guy who's lustful, or you have a knowledge gap and you're busy, caught up in life, and you're not even vetting her properly, it's very easy for someone to hide something from you. Some girls will hide it out of shame or fear that you'll leave her. So do not be scammed or fooled by a woman who has made the choice to modify her looks. Usually she's unstable and she'll never be happy because she's unable to accept or love herself the way God made her. At least in the current emotional state she's in, right? There are cases women, they change 5 years later and they stop. But is it worth waiting? You never know. But overall, a lot of the women, from what I've seen, they typically regret their choices as they age because they mature or they suffer major side effects, as mentioned earlier, right? Some learn from their mistakes and grow past it. But even then, is it worth involving yourself when you can simply find a woman who hasn't ruined herself in that way? So these are my final thoughts. A godly woman with humility accepts her lot in life and she gives honor to God. Whereas a godless woman will never be content with how she looks or who she is, always seeking to change, alter or modify her outer appearance to mask her insecurities, instead of coming to Christ and following God's will for her life. And there are different scenarios that can play out with this. The ideal scenario is that you find a woman that is humble, with a 100% natural appearance that is against any form of cosmetic surgery. This is what I did personally, and I know that most men with integrity prefer the same. My clients who have beautiful natural women, same thing. This is one of the first things you ask a woman. What do you think about plastic surgery? I remember I asked my girl that straight away, and she was like, it's disgusting, I think it's terrible, I think women that do that are very insecure. Perfect. She's natural, very minimal makeup, natural hair color as well. She doesn't change anything. I love that about her. And I know when we have a daughter, can have a great example of what should be. Gives me peace of mind. I don't need to change her. I don't need to fix her. I'm not awake at night worrying what to do. This is the sort of woman that you want to stay with. Second scenario. You are with a woman that has some form of cosmetic surgery, but she has repented of her vanity. Again, people change. People can change, right? Look, if a girl tells you, I'm an alcoholic, but I quit alcohol a week ago, you're not going to believe her. But if she tells you, I'm an alcoholic, I used to be, and I haven't touched alcohol in 6 years, you're more likely to give her a chance, because 6 years of growth and change, right, carries a lot of weight behind it. If you meet a girl and she's like, oh, I had my lip fillers done last week, but I promise I won't do any more done, probably not going to believe her. But if she tells you, look, I'm going to come clean, I had a little bit of lip fillers done 4 years ago, I regret it, I was young and immature, didn't know what I was doing, I've turned from it completely, I'll never do it again. Okay, there's some leeway you can work with there. So guys, don't put a woman into a corner and just throw her away right away. That's up to you. Personally, I like my women 100% natural. That's what I've chosen. But looking at it through a humble lens, there are a lot of young girls, 18, 19, they don't know what they're doing, bad role models, godless society, they don't know any better. They do something small. Maybe it's a little bit of lip fillers, maybe it's a little bit of Botox, but it's not too bad. Maybe it's one boob job and it's not too noticeable. If you are okay with that and you know that she's turned from her ways and you know she won't do that again and you trust her, you have the choice to stay with her. Or you can leave her if it bothers you too much. Okay? But if you get with a woman who, obviously it's a lot of surgery, like in the pictures that I'm showing you, like again, she looks like this creature, then obviously, yeah, you want to fucking leave, right? So it depends what it is, you know? Like, I see a lot of these girls, they're more, okay, still looks a bit weird here, but look, they put all these, they do the face fat removal and all sorts of things. Like, sure, if your girl looks like this, like, you know, it's bye-bye, right? But if it's something very minimal, then it's up to you. You can give her a chance, okay? And finally, the third option is if you are with or you find a woman that either wants cosmetic surgery and won't change her mind, or she gets it done when she's with you, I think the right thing to do is to walk away. Because you have to think of it like this. You are with her. You're the man of her dreams, supposedly. She's chosen you. She knows that you like her. She knows that you love her, that you find her attractive for the way you found her. If she was truly fulfilled with you and her needs were met with you, why would she need to modify her appearance? It's not for you. It's not to make you happy because you already like how she looks. It's a her problem. So the point I'm making is your love isn't even strong enough to make her accept how she is. You see how this isn't a you thing? It's about who she is. That tells you how deep rooted this is. If she's not right with God or doesn't have her morals right, doesn't have her self-esteem right, you ain't changing anything. And you will be just like those friends of mine growing up whose dads, the wife, the mum, getting all the surgeries done. And the guy's always shaking his head. Oh, I've tried to tell her, but she won't listen. Why do you need to get it done? I know there's couples that are 60, 70 years old. They've got like maybe a lot of bags under their eyes. They get that tightened. There's small exceptions. Or health reasons. There's restoring natural beauty. Some exceptions as mentioned. Most of the reasons people get them done is vanity. And when they get one, they usually get more done. One of my friends, I went to law school with him and his girlfriend. They're still together. After 3 years of their relationship, they had an announcement to make to me. I'm thinking, oh, they're finally getting married, engaged, having a kid, something, you know. No. She was getting her boobs done. And they asked me, what do you think? And I said, I think it's a terrible decision. And I did say to her, if you choose to go ahead with this, you can never judge another person moving forward and call them plastic because you're putting it in your body. And the boyfriend, my friend, he's standing there agreeing. I agree with Christian. He tried to talk to her. I tried to talk her out of it. Didn't listen. Didn't work. And they spent an ungodly amount of money to get that changed. And you know what? After all these years, she's still not happy. She still doesn't want to accept it. She still doesn't accept how she is. And she wants to get more done. And he keeps shaking his head and tells her to stop. And she'll keep going. And he's not very happy with it. And I understand there are exceptions where someone can change. Maybe she can change in time, right? If it reaches a serious point. But the point is, this causes a lot of unnecessary friction. And he's stuck with her. He didn't walk away. And the fact that they were already together for 3 years and she still wanted to get that done. She always wanted that. Guys, so the point is, you can be the perfect guy. This is never about you. It's always about the woman. And if she has insecurities and she has low self-esteem and she doesn't take that up with God, she doesn't get that sorted, it will pour out into your relationship and it will cause you problems as well. Because a woman that gets a lot of boob jobs and all these other things done, she's going to tell her daughter it's okay to get it done. Unless she's repented and said, look, honey, I made these mistakes when I was youthful. You should turn away from it and never make the mistakes mum made. Okay, so if the woman hasn't repented of her vanity, you are walking on a minefield. Guys, be very careful. These are my final thoughts on it. Find a good woman who just is natural and is against it. You never have to worry about this. Okay, it's like the guys, I'm afraid of getting married because divorce. Guys, find a good girl that loves you who doesn't believe in divorce. Never have to worry about divorce again. It's the same thing. So use some leeway. If you are with a girl or you just met a girl that's had something a little bit done and she knows it's wrong and she stopped, it's up to you. But if you're with a girl right now and she hasn't had anything done, but she wants to, or when you're busy at work or whatever, she goes ahead and gets it done and she fights you on it and she follows through with it, you're not with a sort of woman that respects your authority. You're getting a snapshot of what to expect in marriage. Ideally, it's best to walk away from that sort of woman. These are my thoughts. You can do what you want. You reap what you sow. This is just my take on cosmetic surgery. When it's acceptable, when it's not acceptable. And at the end of the day, ladies, you should appreciate how God made you. Most of you are beautiful, natural. And quite frankly, if you just take care of your health and you optimize your hormones naturally, eating the right foods, getting enough sleep, exercising, removing bad chemicals and bad foods from your life, you are going to age gracefully. You're going to look your best naturally. Fix what you can if you have problems. But beyond that point, most of us men want a natural looking woman. Okay? So to end the video, let's go through some of these. Just look at this. Look at this. Like, that's someone's daughter who turned out like this. There's another one. Another one. Look at this. These people can vote. These people have rights. It makes you wonder, right? What happened to our society? Look. You can't make it up. Mad. Here's another one. This literally looks like something out of The Walking Dead. And you see a lot of natural looking women and they ruin themselves. You know, look. Was this Pamela Anderson? Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Is that what you want, guys? That the sort of woman you want to be with? I don't think so. I think it's wrong. And I think natural is better. It's how we're made. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's my take on it. These are my thoughts on, should you date a woman with plastic surgery? Personally, wouldn't do it. Neither do I recommend it. Natural is better. With that said, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. And if you are dating a girl who's considering getting something done, or she's a bit wishy-washy on if it's good or bad, send her this video. Maybe you can stop her from butchering her face, right? With that said, hope you'll have a wonderful day. God bless all of you and your families. And I'll see you all in the next video.